So now I'd like to invite Bill McGregor up. He's going to introduce our program.
Thank you. Well, today and today only, if anybody in here today needs any 911 services, we don't have to call 911 because the immediate response will lower actually the response rate in the whole county because they'll be here to help us out. So if nobody that needs it, without further discussion here, I'm going to introduce today two individuals. Well, I can only have one-on-one, but Karen, I think I have yours here as well. But anyway, at TRPC last month, they gave a presentation on some exciting things that Lacey Fire District 3 is looking to do in our community, and I was pretty amazed at what they're bringing forward. But Steve Brooks is wrapping up his 5th year as the Fire Chief of Lacey District 3. He has been with the district for almost 12 years. Thank you for your service. 2016 is his 25th year in fire and emergency services. He is also a fellow Rotarian, thank you for that, coming to us from the Gateway Club. Steve is going to highlight some innovative and exciting community activities that the fire district is currently involved with, and he is joined today by the paramedic firefighter Karen Weiss. Thank you for being here, Karen, and thanks for your service. Karen is leading the charge on a large-scale educational program and campaign that truly has the potential to save lives in our community and beyond. So without further ado, I'd ask both of you to come. Thank you.
So I know it's a bit of a bait and switch. Larry called and asked me if I would be willing to present, and I said, well, as long as you'll let me pick who actually presents. So I'm going to give you the really abridged version of what's going on in the fire district at large and render the majority of the time to Karen, because the greatest key to success I found in my career is surround yourself with people who are both smarter and more innovative than you are. And I think you'll see when Karen talks that I've been successful at least on that front. So it's great. It's exciting to have Karen with me, and we've been able to make this presentation already at Gateway, and she's been out in even more areas and organizations than I have been. And her passion for what she's going to talk about, I think, will shine through and you'll understand. Just a real quick summary on what's going on at the fire district. I'm happy to say that we're wrapping up another busy and productive year. When we're busy, that's not necessarily good for the community, but it's kind of inherent that we're going to continue to have needs in the community, and you don't have to look far to realize how rapidly our community is growing, both in the city of Lacey and in the urban growth area that surrounds it. For those who might not know who we are, occasionally there's a bit of confusion, so I always like to just clear that up to make sure you understand that the fire district serves both the city of Lacey and all of the urban growth area all the way out to the Nisqually Reservation. So it's about 90,000 of the county's residents, or about a third of the entire county. This year we'll set yet another record. We plan to roll over about 13,000 responses before year's end. So we're continuing to try to keep pace with that growth. It's a challenge, but we're able to do it thanks in large part to the support of our community, you included. And we really do appreciate that, and I'm happy to report that financially we're doing okay. We're stable in regard to our operational budget. And one of the projects that normally, I'm not sure what I did wrong, but I think 2 of my bosses are supposed to be here, so I hope you'll find them when they're here. But I can speak on behalf of the commissioners that fortunately they've been able to kind of turn their sights away from day-to-day operational things, and we're now being able to focus on some more long-range things that we need to be addressing in equipment and facilities and all those kinds of things. So it's a good place to be, and I'm excited about that. What I'm most excited about are the things that where kind of the rubber meets the road and we get to interface with our community and do things outside of just our emergency response that I think can pay dividends into the distant future and next generations. And that's really why I want to render the majority of the time today to Karen, for her to kind of highlight and walk through a program, a project that really was formulated in her mind and in a relationship that we built kind of inadvertently, if you will, with a film student over 2 years ago now from the University of Washington. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite Karen Weiss up, who's been with us for over 10 years now as a paramedic, hard to believe, and just a great contributor both as a clinician. She's a top-notch paramedic and provider, but her passion for educating the community is equal, if not above that. So come on up, Karen. It's all yours.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you guys for having me. My name's Karen, and as the chief said, I work as a firefighter and paramedic for Lacey Fire. And so for those of you that don't really kind of get to see firsthand what your fire department does, that means we work 24-hour shifts right? Once every 24 hours, we go home for 48, we come back and we do it again. So throughout the year, I get the blessing to come and see a lot of you in your homes at your worst moments. And I say that's a blessing for me because our staff loves being there in those moments, right? You're drawn to this job for a reason. And most of our individuals that come to this job, they know the impact they can have on when someone is truly having a life-threatening emergency. And it's really what drives us to do a better job and to train and to reach out and see what can we do to be the most impacted for our citizens. And so that's why I'm here today. I'm going to talk to you about one of the most critical things we do as a fire and EMS agency. And that's when we have to manage someone that's having a cardiac arrest. So today I'm not going to get up here and just talk to you about a CPR class. We're going to talk to you about why we need you as our citizens to desperately become a part of our team. And there's some things I need you to know and some things we want you to do before we even arrive. So we developed a program that's going to help you understand why your role in our community and in emergency preparedness is so vital. So what you may not know about your community is that you live in the very best place in the country to have a heart attack. Right? And that doesn't sound like very promising, right? And we're probably not going to put that on a brochure, but, right, to try to draw even more folks into our community. But the truth of the matter is that Thurston County and our EMS system, we have recognized and we have developed and trained, and now we have one of the best opportunities for you to survive a cardiac arrest outside of a hospital in America. We are about the top 3 in the nation. And so what that means what that looks like in real numbers is that if you were to have a cardiac arrest and someone is to witness it, and let's say you were somewhere in the Midwest, your chance of surviving that event might be somewhere between 9 and 15%. Right? And now remind you that 80% of all cardiac arrests happen outside of a hospital in America, right? And most of those are witnessed by another person. But if that happens in Thurston County, your chances of survival are now up to 60%. And that is not surviving that we get you to the hospital just simply with the pulse or breathing. That means you leave that hospital, you're able to hold a part-time job and go back to a life with your family. And those numbers are nothing short of phenomenal. The one thing that is now going to get those numbers even higher is that if we can engage our citizens to do chest compression only CPR before we even arrive. Now, many of you have probably taken a CPR class somewhere throughout your life, and there's a lot that's changed about that. But if someone witnesses a cardiac arrest and they just get chest compressions, we no longer have to breathe for the patient, we just do 3 simple things, and by the end of my presentation, you're going to know what that is. But if someone just does these 3 things that we ask, that individual has a more than double chance of surviving, as opposed to if you don't do anything before we get there. That's how important and vital your role as a citizen is and why we need you to desperately come and be a part of what we're doing. So we started this great little campaign. For some of you, this is going to be maybe the first time that you've seen some of this technology. So here's what happened, is we had a great opportunity to work with a member of the University of Washington Communication Leadership Master's Program. And they ended up at our station for about 6 weeks, and through that relationship, we started saying, boy, he did a bunch of filming, he rode in my medic unit for 6 weeks, got to see what we did. What was really interesting is the first thing he said, he goes, nobody knows what you guys do. And I said, I know, right? It's a huge communication challenge. It would be hard for just an average citizen to articulate the level of care or the types of calls or even everything we do within a day. So we came up with this idea of how can we take you on a call with us without having to have you come to the station, put on some gear, and ride around for 24 hours. So we developed this little box, and paired with your smartphone, we're going to take you on a ride with this box in virtual reality. Whoops, and I think I left my phone in my jacket here. So what this box does, how many people remember, oh, perfect, thank you. How many had a viewfinder when you were a kid? Remember? Oh yeah, there's my group, right? Now, some of you, how many of your grandparents had the old, where you hold it out and you can drop a slide in and it looked like it's in 3D, right? My grandma had one of those. Well, welcome to your viewfinder for 2016, right? This is what this technology is. Paired with your smartphone, when you download a YouTube app and you look at our content or our video that we've produced, right? You download here, we slide it inside to the viewer, hit play, and then when I look, not only can I watch a video, I'll be able to watch it in 360 degrees. That means every time I move, the video moves. So I'll walk around, I'll see behind me, I'll see up, I'll see down. You could look down at the entire scene we've filmed and you'll be able to see it playing in real time just like you were actually there. And I'm going to tell you why we did that. Let me show you our summary video real quick so you can kind of see our project and how we want to reach out to every citizen in our community. Would someone mind dimming the lights, please, for me?
You got somebody pushing a lot of buttons. Go, Mary. How many Rotarians does it take?
How many? Well, we got 2 firefighters in the room. That's not going to help. Okay. Thurston County Medic 1, Lacey Fire District 3, and the University of Washington have partnered together to develop a strategic communication plan that will reach out and engage our citizens to do chest compression only CPR before EMS arrives. You are becoming that person's heartbeat. We started our project with a 1-minute public service announcement that will play for 30 days before every movie in our county to prime our messaging. Our theory is that if we can give our citizens an emotional and engaging experience which shows the working components of a cardiac arrest scene, they will deeply understand the vital role that citizen CPR plays in survival. Here's what some of our content looks like. So this is as if you were looking through a viewer. It takes an entire team of people to respond and work together when someone's life is in danger. Dispatchers, EMTs, paramedics, and physicians. But when someone has suffered a cardiac arrest, the most important member of our team is you. What would you do to give someone more time with the ones they love? To give them one more anniversary or vacation, or maybe just one more Sunday morning breakfast at home? We are ready to help, but we need you too. Be a part of our team. Call 911. Push hard and fast. This is the back stop of our medic units over. Go to www.CPRsavesVR.com to learn more about CPR, heart health, and how you can become a CPR ambassador in your community. Here's how we're going to do it. We have designed and branded 2,500 Google Cardboard virtual reality viewers. Our content will be able to be watched through the viewer on a smartphone. If each one of these classrooms in a box reaches just 8 citizens, we will reach our goal of instructing 20,000 citizens on how to respond to a cardiac arrest. This triples our community reach for less than half the cost of traditional CPR classes. This virtual reality content can be hosted across multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, PS4. Our goal is to increase our cardiac arrest survival rates even higher. Engaging our citizens to respond before we get there, we believe, is the way to do it. What we are trying to achieve is an emotional bridge between our citizens, the role of EMS in our community, and the need for them to respond during a cardiac arrest. All right, so what we're going to do in our community is we're going to take these little boxes, right? And we're going to host an event. If you see on your table, there's a flyer. There's 2 sides to that flyer. On the back side, there's an invitation. On December 3rd, we're going to host an event at our main fire station 31, and we're going to have show times, just like a movie theater, right? So at 11 and 12 and 1 and 2 p.m., we'd like to invite you and anyone that you can think to come with you. Register on our website for one of those times. And we're going to give every citizen that comes to our event this cardboard viewer, and we're going to have our staff, and we're going to show you how to pair it with your smartphone, and we're going to show you how you can take this and you can share this with the people that you love so they'll know how to do citizen only or the chest compression only CPR before we arrive. You can take it to your office. If you have an office that you'd like us to come to and show you, we'd be happy to do that. We're engaging our high school leadership to arm them with our viewers to go out into the community to also help or earn some of their community service hours towards graduation and kind of get our reach going. We would like to teach 20,000 citizens in 2017 how to do chest compression only CPR. And then we'd like to, right, and we're under a study in partnership with Thurston County Medic One to see if that engagement from citizens will increase that cardiac arrest survival rate even higher. Now, if you don't have a smartphone, or you're like me, where it took you a solid year to use that smartphone and all of its features, right? It's okay. We want you to come to our event because we can show you how to view this on a tablet, like an iPad. We can just, if you don't like the idea of looking into a viewer, we can show you how to use it on your phone. We can even upload it to your laptop and have you watch it there so that you can still share it with other individuals. And then we have other forms as well, other forms of content as well that we can reach out into the communities. But we truly are here today because I want to ask you to come be partners with us, and I want to get as many people engaged to see if we can tackle this together. I would love to see all of you there on the 3rd. If you've ever had questions about why does an engine show up when someone has a fall, or how come it takes so many people to respond to a call, or what do these people really do in the back of the medic unit? All the classic ones. That's the difference between a medic unit and an ambulance and an engine and a truck. All of these things that we'd like to share with you, but we're not going to be able to share unless we meet and we start having a face-to-face and we kind of get you guys on board and we just let you join the team. So that's our plan, and I'd really love you all to come. And I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have about CPR, about the fire station, or about our event, or if anybody is seen anything like this, or if you have CPR stories, I would love to hear those too. Yes, sir.
When you do the CPR on the chest pressure, hard and fast as it says right here, do you break the breastbone of the patient?
That's an excellent question. Almost always. So if you look, and some of you have seen the boxes when you look at that picture, yeah, almost always. One of the biggest reasons people are afraid to engage in CPR is because two things. One, they're afraid they're going to hurt the person, right? And they're afraid of breaking ribs. It's just part of doing CPR. You might hear some cracking and crunching, but you're not hurting that person.
Do you have any kind of legal obligation to break somebody's bone?
That is the second question. You are my target demographic, sir. It's like you're a plant. You're wonderful. The second reason people don't engage is they're afraid of litigation. First of all, the litigation is a myth in America. It doesn't happen in the sense of people trying to help and doing CPR. But the second thing you may not know is you're actually protected by Good Samaritan laws. If you have any knowledge or training at all about doing CPR and you jump in and try to help an individual, and the Good Samaritan's laws say that you were acting in good faith based on the training that you had to help save this person's life. Now, for those of you that aren't real familiar or don't have a medical background, they're in cardiac arrest. You're not going to hurt them, and if we do nothing, there's a pretty good chance they're going to stay that way, right? So the fact that you might damage some ribs in the process, I would rather have one of your family members here to say, hey, my ribs hurt, when we're done with this, than to not jump in and do anything at all. But it's a real fear for most people. What we're hoping is that if I can show you this experience, and we take you on a call. Now, that right there wasn't a real call, that was staged. That was the lovely Chief of Fire District 17, Mark Gregory, that was playing our patient. He played a great dead guy. We had to do 12 takes, and we actually dislocated a rib on practicing, doing the CPR on him, so there was a little bit of a setback there. Right? And all the other behind the curtain scenes, that was my kitchen. The first CPR was my mom's bathroom. That's some friends and family members. My boss, the chief's been gracious enough to support us through this, as well as Thurston County Medic One. But we've really pulled this together because all these folks that are here working for your fire and your EMS agencies, we really believe in the health and the wellness of our community. And if we don't get you to come on board and say, look, we've got to do this together in order to give people more of a chance, without you, right, our efforts are really futile, right? To let someone sit in cardiac arrest for the 6 to 8 minutes that it may take your fire department to respond. And I said, it is really a difficult thing to come back from. So the more people we can get trained this year, the better off our entire community is going to be. So thank you for, oh, yes, sir.
Is this an EMS program or a Lacey Fire program? What about the other 12 or 13 fire districts?
Yeah, so this is a program that started with us at Lacey Fire, and so we've kind of developed it, and then we partnered with Thurston County Medic One, and so what we're doing is basically a trial in our district. And we're working out all our best practices and seeing, is this an effective way to communicate? We've got the University of Washington behind us, and we've got some pretty smart folks that say if you actually see and have an experience in virtual reality, your brain registers that as it was a real experience that you had, much like a dream, right? Your brain really can't tell the difference between non-dream and dream and the way we process it. And so if we give you this information, we know that you're going to be more ready to respond. So we're going to see how that works with all our citizens. And then, yeah, we've got some pretty big partners that are coming on board. So I imagine in the future, you're going to see this go out through all the rest of the fire agencies. We had some great support from an agency, from someone that's in the room, South Bay Fire and Cape May. We used their engine and their staff. And so we've been starting to partner with some other folks already. But yeah, I imagine you're going to see this coming up here. We happen to be the very first people in the nation to do any type of public education or outreach or this type with virtual reality. It's an emerging platform and communication that you're going to see a lot more of coming in the future. So I feel pretty excited that we're going to be the first ones to launch it. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
I'm one of the grateful 60%.
Wonderful.
But so when I had my heart attack, I didn't have cardiac arrest or I made them, and I was alone, and I made the phone call.
Nice.
But this is maybe a boy thing, but I sat there saying, am I going to be a chicken or a fool?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure what was going on. And I would have driven to the hospital, but I was too weak to do this. Drive
good heavens.
and a half, And I still remember this. So I was on the phone and I said, well, I described what was going on, and
what was going on? Can you describe it?
Well, I was sweating like mad.
Yes.
I was dripping wet. And I was very, very uncomfortable. I had some of that traditional pain, but not excruciating pain.
Some pain in your shoulders.
Yeah, and the chest and all that stuff. So I called and I said, I described. I think you should come, but I don't want a siren or light.
God bless your generation. Nobody wants to make a fuss. I love it. Yeah.
Then I said, then something happened, but I do want you to come right away.
Yeah. No fast, just not loud and fast.
We're all, but my question is, there are a lot of different kinds of heart attacks, right?
There's not too many.
There aren't.
Yeah, there's not too many different types. So what you're experiencing are the signs and symptoms of what we call acute coronary syndrome, right? So you're actively having a heart attack, but the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest is in a heart attack you have a blockage in one of the vessels that feed your heart, right? And it's preventing blood and nutrients and oxygen from getting to your actual heart muscle, right? So when enough of that gets blocked, your heart gets very irritable and it doesn't like it, and it stops working, and you go into cardiac arrest, and then it just stops beating altogether effectively. So you caught it on the very front end. If you would have sat and waited and not done anything, the odds are is you would have ended up in cardiac arrest. And so the signs and symptoms as part of our educational plan is to make sure people know what those signs and symptoms look like. Chest pressure, heaviness, shortness of breath, sweating, sudden nausea, pain in both shoulders, pain to one shoulder, pain in your neck and jaw. All of those things, fantastic reasons to call 911. I tell people we're here 24/7 and we're just waiting for someone to call.
And the good thing is they're waiting for you when you get to the emergency room.
We actually, so I'll comment on that and then I'll get to your question. So yeah, we actually, one of the greatest things that really makes our cardiac arrest survival rates in the county is we have this fabulous relationship with the the local hospital. So before, if you're at home and you are having a heart attack, I can bring our medic unit gets dispatched to you because of your chest pain. I can do an EKG, I can give you all the early medicines that you need right in the back of our unit, and then I can send that EKG to the cardiologist at the hospital, and I can personally request that they open up and get the cath lab ready to give you a stent and look at your heart before we even arrive, so that when we arrive at your house, by the time I leave your driveway, we've got an IV established, we've got an EKG, we've got medicines on board. I can have you intubated and on a ventilator if you're not breathing for yourself, and your EKG sent to a cardiologist, and they're getting ready for you at St. Pete's. And that is the efficiency of our system, and it is an amazing system to work in, and it's a privilege for all of us.
I was in the cath lab 14 minutes after my heart attack.
Yeah, amen. That is not something everybody in this country can say, and you guys, we're living in an amazing place. Yes, sir, in the back.
Is it still wise to take an aspirin?
Yes, it is. And I will tell you, I'm not a doctor, but if you're over 40, it's wise to take one every day. And if chest pain, yeah, one regular size aspirin, absolutely, it'll be the first thing we give you when we get there. Yes, sir.
A little correction over the last few years that you don't dial 911. There is no 11 on the dial.
Good job.
Teaching the little kids what buttons are pushing.
That is good. Yeah, making sure they know it's 911.
Two more questions.
Yep, thank you.
Are there any symptomatic differences between a man and a woman?
Very much. Women tend to have what we call atypical symptoms. They may not get chest pain or pressure. They may get back pain or nausea or just feel weak and short of breath. Also people that are diabetic, but women, diabetic, elderly, and also interesting people of color. Those are all a demographic group that may have different symptoms than traditional chest discomfort or pain. One more question. Yes, sir.
Just clarification, the 60% has to do with cardiac arrest, doesn't it?
It does.
Not all. I mean, the other kinds of heart attacks are even higher than that.
And people survive. If you don't have a cardiac arrest with your heart attack, you do. It's a much higher chance of survival. But these are people that actually are in arrest on arrival
That's why
to our
that rate
cruise.
is so phenomenal for our area.
It really is. It really is. One last thing before I step down and let you guys have the rest of your meeting. If you are, please, December 3rd, we would love to see all of you, and I would love to give you a tour of really your fire station and your apparatus and your medic units. And I'd love you to come and meet us. We'd love to see you. And then if you are interested at all and you'd love us to come out to your business and make sure that your business is heart safe and your employees have this information, we would love to do that for you too. And don't forget that Thurston County Medic 1 offers free full CPR classes for anyone in the county. They'll come to any group, they'll come to any office, you just have to give them a call. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thanks for having us.
So, as part of our thank you to speakers, we donate a book on your behalf to the South Sound Reading Foundation. So I'd like you and Steve, you can take that down your seat, but maybe sign that, and we will get it donated for you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much for a great program.
Yeah, thank you.